Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we are here to continue our spooky season content with a look at 10 of the worst horror movies in my collection. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so 10 horror movies in my collection that are not very good. We all have those. If you're a Vinegar Syndrome fan like me and you got suckered into blind buying because you have some beautiful cover art, I completely understand. I did a whole video about that. But we're not going to just take the easy target of Vinegar Syndrome. Yes, there's going to be a couple in here, but these are movies that for one way or another, they just don't resonate with me. I am not going to go back to them. And it's no offense. If you love these movies, man, to each their own, that's what makes this great, right? That's what makes this great. But for me, these are ones that are probably going to collect some dust on my shelf. But there are a few in here that are in the so bad that they're good, so I will revisit them and laugh and have some fun. And I am proud to have every movie that I've got, though. Like, I love the movies that I pick. I don't collect titles, but when I get a title, I am reluctant to let it go because I chose it and I'm going to hold on to it. But let's get to my top 10 stinkers here in my collection. And these are in no kind of order, but this is one that I've talked about a few times lately on the channel. It's 1980's Night of the Demon. This is a Severin release. This was a video nasty. This is, I mean, it's got a, first of all, it is a very convoluted story told through flashbacks, and in the flashbacks, they're flashed sideways. There's all kinds of stuff. It uses sounds from a sex scene. It reuses for the death scene where these people, the same people who are having sex, are being attacked by the Bigfoot. And it uses the same sounds over again. There's also a guy randomly getting his penis ripped off while taking a leak in the woods. There is a Bigfoot rape scene. It's just messed up, y'all. But I feel like it's one of those that is like infamous, like famous. But so famous for what it's famous for that it's infamous. So you're kind of cool with having it in your collection. I got a weird thing with Bigfoot horror that I like. So having it there and it's just kind of like, oh, look, here's this thing that I have. But it is one that I am not going to be popping in very often. So Night of the Demon is on my list. All right, next up on the list, I got them in there. These are in no ranking order here. Let's go with 2019's The Haunting in Connecticut. Now a lot of people really like this movie. This is a movie I want to like more, but I can't because it is so depressing. I don't think I saw this at the theater. I think I bought this when it came out, 17 years ago, 16 years ago. And I watched it once and I was like, man, it was like, I think it was a blind buy for me, but like I knew Kyle Gallner, who's now in the Sweet Darling movie. I knew him from, being on the CW, from being on Smallville. So I picked this up. And I like haunted house movies, and it's based on a true story. But man, the whole thing is such a drag because you have him being sick as a dog and dying of cancer the whole time. And this is supposed to be a real event that, like, Ed and Lorraine Warren from the Conjuring movies, they investigated this. But like, you're seeing a kid slowly die, and he's seeing ghosts and stuff like that because he's dying of cancer. And the family, and it's so sad. It's too heavy for me. I can't see myself popping this in because just, man, that's just too much. I want escapism and all that kind of stuff. I do not want to think about a kid as a father. as a human, I don't want to think about a kid being sick and dying and and me watching that for entertainment, man. I'm just not in the mood for anything that heavy. So The Haunting of Connecticut for me is a stinker that stays on the shelf. All right, next up on the list is, let me see if I got them all sitting around over here still. I kind of got knocked everything in the floor when I was trying to fix my computer. This next one on the list is one that you're probably not going to expect to see. And this one hurts me because I love my man, Bill Moseley. If you guys know, he worked with me. He was a star in my movie Dark Road 79. I have been at a lot of horror conventions where I've got to hang out with him, talk to him when we were both guests for a whole weekend. He may be coming this weekend. There is Days of the Dead horror convention in Atlanta. I'm not sure. I hadn't talked to him, but I love him. He is a great actor. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Chop Top. But 3 from Hell, as you can see, this was a gift to me. It's still got the plastic. Why? Because I thought the other movie, like in this trilogy, you got House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. I thought that the ending of Devil's Rejects is where it should have left it. It already goes from being that fun ridiculousness in the first movie to Devil's Rejects goes super dark, super twisted, just for the sake of being dark and twisted. And that's the movie Bill and I talked about on set, about the whole, like when they're holding the family hostage, the people hostage in the hotel room in the Devil's Rejects, how dark that was. And I get it that art is not safe, but like I think that movie had an Out in the Blaze of Glory good ending there. And then you bring them back in this, and Sid Haig was older. You couldn't really have him, and he passed away. And it was like Rob Zombie threw everything he knew, everybody he knew in this movie, everything he could throw at a wall to stick, and it just kind of gets random all over the place. It loses the plot of the first 2 movies. It loses the through line to me. And it's just hard one for me to pick up and watch. Like, you see the plastic is still on it. I saw it at the theater when it came out because I'm going to support my man Bill. If I never popped this in, I would have bought it if it hadn't been given to me, because I'm going to support Bill, because I support my friends and I support artists that I care about and all that kind of stuff. But man, this is just one that's not coming off my shelf anytime soon. 3 from Hell. All right, next up on the list is one that I bought as I was craving. Now we're gonna go pick on Vinegar Syndrome for a second. I bought this one as I got it for like $13. I was craving the Hitcher. This was before when there was just news of the Hitcher coming out, and so I bought this movie, A Shot in the Dark. I'd never seen it. Cool cover. Hitcher in the Dark. And, it's got this sexy cover on it and all this kind of stuff. It's spot glossed and everything. Okay, it's not like the Hitcher at all. So basically, it's this kind of yuppie, wealthy guy. I think it's made in like 89. Yuppie, wealthy guy. He's got his parents' like RV or something like that, and he's driving around and he's picking up women and holding them hostage and sexually assaulting them or killing them and assaulting them because he can't get it up to sexually assault them. And so he's inadequate and everything. But then it has these weird asides to, like, it goes and cuts to like this fun time, like wet t-shirt contest at this lake or whatever on this stage or at this beach. And it's kind of like this weird tone. Now, you really do root for the final girl in here, but man, she has to go through it. It's just like, it could have been more. This is one that, like, I mean, I would maybe watch again. This isn't in a like, man, I'll never watch it again, but like the tone is kind of all over the place. The end isn't completely satisfying, but you're rooting for this girl so much that I could definitely see, wanting to check it out again. It does have a little bit of your nudity and stuff like that in it to, kind of smooth over maybe what it's missing. But the wet t-shirt contest is like so random. But interesting movie. Definitely not the Hitcher, but Hitcher in the Dark, great cover, only $13. I don't hate having it, but man, it's towards the bottom of my list in the movies that I have. All right. Next up on the list is one. This one is probably going to surprise a lot of you, and I hate it because I'm a huge Sarah Michelle Gellar fan, but I am talking about The Grudge. Now Grudge is from what, 2004, I think. I was a huge Sarah Michelle Gellar fan. Buffy the Vampire Slayer started when I'm in my senior year of high school, actually like halfway through my senior year of high school. I think it was like a mid-season replacement. And I had a crush on Buffy. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Love how that show was written. Loved everything about that show. And so this was like right when the show ended and she's making her move. And now she's in the horror movie. So like I'm jacked up about that. And I go and see The Grudge. And y'all, it's like if you're a huge fan of J-horror and stuff, like that's totally awesome. The vibe I'm big about vibes and atmosphere. And something about that style of horror doesn't translate for me. The cold blues, grays, desaturated, washed out nature, kind of like this weird like curse, like there's a curse in here. Like the horror doesn't hit home for me. Like she's washing her hair and like then there's like fingers like coming out of her skull or whatever, and she freaks out and it goes away. It doesn't hit home with me. And it's like even someone who at the time really had a huge crush on, still big fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar, even she couldn't save the movie for me. And I mean, I know a lot of people love this movie and there are lots of fans of J-horror out there. It is just not my flavor of horror. I'm more into like the cozy, creepy. I mean, maybe I'm just Americanized, although there's plenty of foreign films that I like. It's not my speed of horror, and The Grudge just is one that I think I watched it at the theater. I bought it. I've watched it once since then, and I've tried a few other times with this and other J-horror, and I just can't do it. It's just not for me. For me, it's at the bottom, towards the bottom of my list in movies that I have in my collection. Horror movies, anyway. All right. Next up on my list is one that I got recently. It was like a $2 throw-in with some other order I was about 4 or 5 months ago now. This is 2022's, and I was shocked to find out this was 2022. But this is 2022's Sorority Babes in the Slime Bowl-orama Part 2. Yes, a title like that has a sequel. This one has Linnea Quigley in it too, if I'm not mistaken. I know the original one does. This one has Kelly Maroney in it from like Chopping Mall and Night of the Comet. But man, this movie it's direct sequel to like the 1988 film. But when you take those films from 1988, they use practical effects, and I don't know, there's a charm to the cheeseball nature and the gratuitous nudity and stuff like that. It seems more harmless, seems more fun, seems more acceptable. Here, it seems like it's just trying to pretend to be that. Like this thing, I was shocked to find out it was 2022 because it looks like it is shot straight on video and put out. It has gratuitous nudity scenes, shower scenes, crazy, weird, like little puppet and CGI special effects. They try with some of the kill. Now, like, I know that they're going for that look, right? They're going for it. But it ends up still looking too clean. So it doesn't look like the old school shot on video and straight to your mom and pop store. It looks like somebody shot it with HD cameras video, but with no, like that kind of knowledge of filming. So I don't know. I mean, there's some good. Now, this is one of the ones in that category, though, of you could pop in because of the ridiculousness, the craziness of the monster. the craziness of and funniness of some of the kills, the gratuitous nudity and how it's playful and things like that. It's very playful. It's not like weird and exploitive kind of way. You could pop this in on like a Saturday night if you're having some drinks or you're drinking with some buddies or some friends and just laugh at the ridiculousness and enjoy. So for me, it's in that category. So it's one I would watch again in that regard. But otherwise, it's staying on the shelf. All right. Next up, we're going to go pick on Vinegar Syndrome one more time. This is a movie. This is a movie that has made a couple of lists and none for a good reason. I am talking about Terror at Tenkiller. Nothing happens in this movie. Absolutely nothing happens. I think like the base premise is, if you read the synopsis, it's like two women go to the lake to relax, but a slasher killer won't let them. Well, he does for a long time because they don't do anything. They spend a hell of a lot of time sitting at this kitchen counter with like this green telephone, just talking on the phone, just long extended scenes of them sitting and talking, one-sided phone conversations. Now, this is a Vinegar Syndrome special because this is one of the best, sexiest, cool slasher covers you're ever going to see. I mean, check this out. Like, I mean, of course, you know, it's sexy. It's got sex appeal. She's showing the booty. But then if you look at the shadow with the knife in the hand, that's super cool. And if you look over here, you know, she's basically wearing see-through clothes. You got the killer coming up behind her. This is all spot glossed. It's a good looking, it's a 4K. It was done in 4K. Nothing happens. It is boring, long movie. Like if this stuff kind of happens, but nowhere near as in a sexy or an anticipatory kind of way as it would lead you on. It makes it look like this is going to be, you know, like a sex romp slasher. It is not. It is it is the antithesis, it is the example of a slow burn and the antithesis of a sexy, fun, action-packed slasher. But I'm glad to have this. This is one of the coolest pieces. I paid $13 for this. And the artwork is worth that. It's super cool. It's one of those that you could sucker someone in and be like, hey, watch this movie, man. Look, this is so sexy, so fun. Check this out right here. Check this out. Like, man, pop it in. And then at the end, they will hit you. They will hit you. But Terror at Tenkiller, bottom 10 on my list. I got 3 left. And this next one was a gift. And I don't know who it's from. One of you awesome folks out there sent this movie to me, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you I watched it right away. I've actually watched it twice. This is one I will watch again. I will watch this one again. I will get a buddy or two over here or my son. I've been kind of quoting it a little bit, and we'll watch it again. It's absolutely asinine and ridiculous. I don't know what the hell Don Coscarelli was drinking when he came up with Bubba Ho-Tep. I enjoyed watching it in a it's so bad it's good kind of way. And it could have been next level, that category of it's so bad, it's good. We're going to watch this all the time and enjoy the camp cheese if something happened in the first 2 acts of the movie, but it doesn't. And the 4K here, because Bruce Campbell's supposed to play an old Elvis. We'll get to that in just a second. The 4K just shows off how bad the makeup is. The makeup looks like somebody caked on a bunch of gray pancake makeup and stuck sideburns and facial hair and stuff on it. And in 4K, you see where it's cracking and peeling and drying up and coming off. You see the lines where the hair is stuck. All that kind of stuff. So in that way, the 4K doesn't do this any good. But where the hell did Don Coscarelli come up with an idea of, okay, we're going to have an old Elvis impersonator, except he's really going to be the real old Elvis who traded places with a person impersonator a long time ago. And then he lost all the proof, so now he's got no money, and so he's fat old Elvis in a nursing home in Texas. And while he's there, people start dying because during a transport, a sarcophagus with a mummy, a cursed mummy, fell off a truck or train into the water. It opened the sarcophagus. The mummy got out. He is now seeing this old folks home as an all-you-can-eat smorgasbord. And, of course, because he's got to be some kind of Bubba Ho-Tep, he's got, this mummy is wearing, like, cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. And the only person to help Bruce Campbell stop this is Ossie Davis, a great actor and a black man who is crazy and believes that the CIA turned him black and that he's really JFK, and they turned him black to hide who he is. Like, and they are going to stop this mummy. Who, like, what? Huh? All right. And again, I think it's so out there, it's so ridiculous that it could be a lot of fun if more happened in the first two acts. But the first two acts is a lot of Bruce Campbell in bad aged makeup, just laying in his bed, talking about his pecker and worrying about getting hard or farting or eating or sleeping or whatever. If anything else, like if more stuff happened and everything and it didn't wait till the last act, this would be one that was worth a lot of rewatches. But I am actually really glad to have this because I'm a big Elvis fan too. So there's just some fun, campy nature in that for me. And I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan. And this is one I keep telling my son. I was like, stop acting like a little Bubba Ho-Tep. And so he finally asked where it was from. So we're probably going to watch it again. I am proud to have this, though. Thank you to whoever sent this to me. It is just at the bottom because it's batshit crazy and I don't know how to make sense of it. And the 4K actually hurts this and doesn't do it favors, in my opinion, because of the makeup. But this is the in it's so bad, it's good category and ridiculous. And we can watch it and have fun and laugh. And if it was just a little more fast paced, with a little more stuff happening early on, it'd be a rewatch all the time for campy value. But Bubba Ho-Tep is on the list. All right, I got two left, so I'm going to go to the most shocking one first here, because a lot of you are going to be pissed at me in 1 second right here, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize, but just understand that the whole like torture genre of movies has never been my thing. So a movie that I watched once at the theater and was given the DVD of as a gift and have never watched again is Saw. I am just not a fan of this type of movie. Like, I am not what they call a gore hound. I'm not into torture porn. And I know people hate those terms. And like, I'm all into kills. I did the top 25 kills in horror movies and everything. But it has to be within the context of like the atmosphere, the story, all of that. I do not like just kills for kill's sake or for torturing. If I am not into watching torture in any way, shape, or form. That is not me. I am not interested in it. And all this stuff is to me is sadistic torture and finding ways to kill. And it spawned tons of sequels, so lots of people are into it. I'm just not one of those people. I think it's cool. I mean, and I'm into gruesome stuff, like the band scene or the edited out scene in is it Jason Lee? I can't remember which Jason movie, Friday 13th movie it is, where the couple's having sex, and the woman's riding the guy, and she's naked, and Jason comes through with the back, stabs her through her back, splits her in half, all that kind of stuff. Like, hey, that's within the context of the story. It makes sense. You know, those whole things are exploitive in nature. Like the 80s stuff that I grew up with, like you had comedy, you had morality tales because like you didn't get drunk, you didn't have sex, you didn't get naked when you weren't supposed to shirk your responsibilities. And when you did all those things, you got punished, but partly because they distracted you from the danger that was out there. So it made sense. This is just human beings like devising other ways to torture other human beings and kill them in the most gruesome ways possible. And that's what the whole story is about. Like this, Hostel, I'm not into it. So for me, Saw, I don't own any other ones. This was given to me a long time ago. I don't own any other ones. I don't own any Hostel movies. I won't watch them. I won't watch any Saw stuff. I even have a problem with Seven. And that's a so well done movie, but like the way that ends and everything, I'm just not into that. Like you're trying to make it just real and gruesome and people into monsters. And like, I watch movies to get away from that. I'm cool with the most gruesome kills, exploitive kills, sex, nudity, all that kind of stuff, gore, as long as it's within the atmosphere, the context, and the confines of the story and not the purpose, the only purpose of the story. So for me, that's where Saw, Hostel, all that stuff comes in, and it's just at the bottom of my list because of it. But if you enjoy it, it is like not a knock on you whatsoever. I know I like shit other people don't like. That's just how it is. And that's what makes all this fun. So don't take any of this too serious. This is just ones that are going to collect dust unless they're just so fun, bad they're fun. This is just not in there for me. In the exploitive, so bad they're good is our final one on this list. And I got this one real cheap a couple of months ago. And this one is no bones about what it is. This is Linda Blair and the late Julie Strain starring in The Sorceress, a.k.a. The Temptress. This will tell you all I need to know here, reading the back. Sexy seduction, witchcraft, and gratuitous nudity abound in this digitally remastered world premiere of the uncensored version of Jim Wynorski's Sorceress, a.k.a. The Temptress. Now, Julia Strain, she passed away not too long ago, very young. She was actually riding a horse, I believe is what it was, and she sustained a head injury that caused her to have dementia, that caused her to pass away very rapidly. And Linda Blair is in this movie. I think it's 1995, I want to say. If I wrote it down. Yeah, 1995. Now, Julia Strain was very famous for doing some serious nudity stuff. Linda Blair done more than her fair share of nudity stuff, too, if you go back and look at it. But in this particular movie, it's almost like Linda Blair shot a whole other of and they just kept her, because she doesn't really interact with anybody else, most of the other main characters in the movie, ever. All of her stuff takes place over here, and she's very serious and giving her, lines and all this. And then they cut back to all this other stuff going on. And this isn't like a low budget movie. They have like big action set pieces where a car flips and blows up and stunts and all kinds of stuff. But like in the opening, credits of this movie, Julia Strain is butt naked, full frontal. So you know what you're getting into, even in the title menu, she is. There are scenes in this that border between softcore and a little more than softcore. This is not the famous movie, if you know it, where Julia Strain, where it shows her pretty X-rated with a cops billy club. This is not that movie, but it has a lot of stuff in it that now this is one of those, if you want some late night, early mid 90s ode to the late 80s, like Skinamax, sleaze, cheese, horror movie, where you're having a couple of cocktails late at night or something like that, and you want to pop it in and all that. That's this movie. So this is one that could get watched again in that kind of context. And it's not like I said, it's not super cheap quality. So it's not like, oh my God, it's shot on video crap. No, it looks good, and all that, but man, it is what it is. It is a sex and witches movie. That's exactly what it is. A late night Skinamax, bordering on like past Playboy Channel type quality on here, especially the uncensored version. And so it's just not one that you're going to pop on like, Saturday afternoon and watch. Like, this is definitely late night when it's just like you by yourself or you and your spouse, and you're watching some kinky horror. Make me think of Darcy the Mail Girl from Joe Bob Briggs. Her name on social media is Kinky Horror. That's what this is kinky horror, and just not one that I'm going to pull off my shelf that much, but it is in the kind of so bad, cheesy, sleazy that it's good and watchable category. But that is my list of 10 of the worst horror movies in my collection. Now, some of these, like I said, Bubba Ho-Tep, definitely the most rewatchable. I'll watch again. Sorceress and Slime Bolorama, those I'll watch again because of the late night old school cheese value of those. Hitcher in the Dark, I would give another chance. Terror at Tenkiller is like being punished. It's like being punished to watch like paint dry on a wall again and again and again and again. And Haunting at Connecticut is just too heavy for me, with kids dying of cancer and all that and being sick, and a little too much. But and with Saw and stuff, I'm just not into the torture. But let me know, are there some in your list? Are you surprised at any of these in my list? Are there some that you have in your collection that you're like, man, I got it, I'm not going to get rid of it, but I'm not popping that one in very often. That one's kind of a stinker. Or did you get burned on some blind buys that are just stinkers? Let me know. Let me know what you think of my list. Have you seen any of these? Are you shocked? I know some of y'all are like, Saw and Grudge are on his list. It's just my taste, man. Everybody's got different tastes, and that's what makes doing this so much fun, and talking about it and introducing each other to different things and talking about why we like and don't like stuff. That's what keeps physical media, movies, VCR tapes, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. That's what keeps this Laserdisc. That's what keeps this all, alive. Otherwise, it just fades away and it's dead. Us talking about it, debating about it, and having fun with it is what gives it life and gives it energy. And that's what I got for you today. We are still spooky season focused right now for the rest of this month. I got huge lists coming out to you. Sorry, I'm having to re-record them because of all the problems I've had here with power and house and weather. But I've got my big videos coming out on Halloween focused movies, on family-friendly horror list. Those are both coming out. My top haunted house movies of all time. Those all lists are coming out. And of course, we do all kinds of 4K reviews, physical media news, all that kind of stuff here from a fan and filmmaker's perspective. I appreciate you all so much for being here. It really helps me out. And if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and ring that bell, spread the word. If you want to help support the channel, you can join below at my Patreon or right here on YouTube, a couple dollars, get your name in lights here, access the special videos, all kinds of stuff. Look for details on a big 5,000 subscriber milestone live stream coming up. We got about 375, 380 subscribers left to go. We're going to do a bunch of big free giveaways, stuff I've been holding on to, great prizes, movies, shirts, all kinds of stuff, just as a big thank you to all of you out there. And I know some of you have asked me, where can you send me stuff? I keep with my running list of my targets down below in the description. I keep an address down there where I can take mail and stuff like that and send you some stuff out. You guys can send stuff to me. But enough of all that. Be kind, rewind. Until next time, I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.